You've been doing this whole dating thing wrong, and deep down you already know it. You keep giving everything to girls who treat you like a backup plan. Then you sit there confused, wondering what you did wrong, blaming your looks, your money, your status, your personality. The problem isn't that you cared. The problem is how you cared and who you gave it to. And if you don't fix that, you're going to keep repeating the same story with a different face. Right now, you probably relate to this. She never really thought you would leave. She was sure you would stay no matter what. When you went quiet, she didn't take it seriously. She thought your silence meant you were accepting everything. But you weren't. You were slowly detaching. You were getting ready to walk away. For real. You kept showing up. You were loyal. You were present. You were honest. She got used to that. While you were focused on the relationship, she was focused on what else was out there. She wasn't valuing you. She was measuring how much she could take without losing you. She didn't really appreciate you. She liked what your loyalty did for her. Every time you texted first, every time you waited for her to reply, every time you ignored your own frustration just to keep things calm, you were showing her that she could put in the minimum and still keep you around. At some point, she started to feel entitled to your time and energy, almost like your attention was guaranteed just because she was there. She didn't feel like she had to match your effort. She thought your emotional investment was automatic and endless. And you helped that happen. You tried to be the good guy in a dating scene that often rewards the opposite. You gave her exclusivity while she spread her attention everywhere. You made plans, she made excuses. You wanted something stable. She wanted to keep every option open. She posted revealing photos, replied to old guys in her messages, and you tried to frame it as insecurity instead of disrespect. You felt the disrespect, but you pushed it aside. You told yourself that real love means being patient. You told yourself that every couple has problems. You kept hoping she would grow, that she would eventually see how solid you were and step up to match it. You paid for her goals, but she didn't support yours. You took her dreams seriously while she brushed off what you wanted. You defended her to people who cared about you. You fought for the relationship while she enjoyed the attention she got from everywhere else. You stayed not because you were weak, but because you believed that love meant holding on. You thought that if you were loyal enough, patient enough, soft enough, she would finally understand what she had. You were wrong about that part. She saw your value. She just didn't respect it. A big part of that is how the dating scene is now. A lot of people are told they can always do better, even when they're not bringing real effort. Their phone is full of messages, likes, and validation. So they stop valuing the person who actually shows up every day. So she started to test you.
She pulled away. She went cold.
She ignored your messages longer and longer. She gave you less affection, less time, less focus. She wanted to see if you would crack or chase harder. And you did what most guys do. You adjusted. You bent your standards. You lowered your expectations. You changed how you moved just to avoid conflict. You made yourself smaller, quieter, more agreeable. You gave up parts of your personality that she didn't like. You swallowed your needs. You adapted around her mood swings, her distance, her games. But attention is not love. And love without respect slowly destroys you. Every time you forgave disrespect without real change, she lost more respect for you. Every time you put her comfort above your peace, she felt less attraction. People don't respect what they can constantly step over without consequence. You started to lose yourself. You looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the guy looking back. You weren't laughing the same. You were tired all the time, not just physically but emotionally. You weren't just tired of her. You were tired of your own behavior in that relationship, tired of how much you allowed. That's when something changed. At some point, it finally hit you that love isn't supposed to cost you your self-respect. You noticed that peace felt better than constantly trying to calm someone else down. You understood you could care deeply about someone and still decide you're done with this version of yourself. So you pulled back, quietly. You stopped texting first every time. You stopped sending long explanations. You stopped trying to prove your intentions. You stopped begging for basic effort. You went silent, not as a tactic, but because you were drained. That silence did more than any argument. It shook her because for the first time she felt your absence instead of your constant presence. She realized the guy who always stayed no matter what was actually capable of letting go. Now she goes back through old messages and old memories. She reads how you used to talk to her, how you showed care, how you supported her. She remembers moments she brushed off while you were living them fully. She thought you would always be there. Now you're not. And you're not just gone physically. You're checked out emotionally and mentally. You've started to pull your energy back to you. You're no longer waiting for her to validate anything. You're not thinking about how to fix it. You're thinking about how to fix you. You finally see that someone who doesn't match your loyalty with effort is not a prize. She was a distraction from your own growth. Now it's her turn to sit with the empty feelings she once created in you. It's her turn to feel uncertain. It's her turn to question why she treated you like that. You don't need to check on her. You don't need to wonder if she misses you. That's not your problem anymore. Your healing is not her comfort. Your progress is not her second chance. She had what she wanted. A loyal man who tried. She misused it. She lost it. Life will give her the lessons she needs. That's not your job. Your job now is simple. Rise, rebuild, Set clear boundaries. Raise your standards. Treat your presence as something valuable, not something automatic. You start learning to trust your gut again. You stop ignoring red flags and telling yourself it's not a big deal. You stop explaining away behavior that clearly shows low respect. You accept when someone is not ready for the type of connection you want. You go to the gym, but not to post about it or to make her jealous. You go to build discipline. You go to prove to yourself that you can show up consistently for something that benefits you. You train your body because a strong body supports a stronger mind. You cut off random flings, not because you can't get them, but because you finally understand they drain your focus. You stop giving energy to people you know you don't see a future with. You stop using attention from others to fill the gap she left. You start focusing on your purpose, your work, your goals, your craft, your money, your health. Not as a distraction, but as the main priority. You take control of your schedule. You treat your time like it matters. You stop wasting your days waiting for a text. Over time, you level up so much that your old self would barely recognize you. You carry yourself differently. You speak differently. You think differently. You value yourself differently. And when the next woman shows up, and someone will, you no longer accept crumbs. You expect effort, communication, and consistency from her the same way you give it. You don't chase someone who is unsure. You don't beg for basic respect. You don't stay where your boundaries are laughed at. You let your absence teach the lesson that your presence never could. A good man doesn't chase people who play games. A good man chooses who gets access, and he chooses himself first. You choose your peace. You choose your long-term future instead of short-term validation. Because you are not anyone's backup plan anymore. You are not the person someone runs to when everything else fails. You are your own foundation now. And if she ever comes back trying to reconnect, you remind yourself of one important thing. She didn't leave because you weren't enough. She left because she didn't appreciate what she had. Once you truly know your value and walk away, going back makes no sense. Going back means you ignore everything you learned. You're done being an option. You're done begging. You're done shrinking yourself for someone who could barely show up. Here's another hard truth. You already tried everything. That's what so many guys ignore. You didn't just walk away on a random bad day. You spent months, maybe years, pouring energy into something that was not growing. You adjusted your behavior again and again. You became softer when you wanted to be firm. You gave more time, more reassurance, more emotional support, thinking maybe this will finally be enough for her to stop looking for attention elsewhere. You watched her post content clearly designed to pull attention from other men, while ignoring how it made you feel. You tried to justify it. You told yourself it was harmless. But it didn't feel harmless. It felt like you didn't matter. Every time you gave more, she gave less. Your effort met a cold wall. Your presence was constant, but her emotions were always far away. She gave you affection when it suited her, then withdrew it when she wanted to keep you chasing. Her way of loving you came with conditions. You accepted all of them, hoping they would eventually end in real commitment. You defended her when your friends or family pointed things out. You carried the weight of the relationship almost alone. And the worst part? You blamed yourself. You thought maybe you weren't attractive enough, successful enough, confident enough. You thought the problem was always you. But love requires real responsibility, and she wasn't ready for that. The dating world now makes it easy to treat people like they're replaceable. A lot of people think there is always someone better in their messages, so she treated your commitment like a backup plan. You were the person who always answered when she felt low, bored, or lonely. You became her emotional support, her comfort, her problem solver, her protector. But when you asked for respect, or effort, or accountability, suddenly you were too much. Suddenly you were the problem. When you brought up the imbalance, she twisted the situation. She framed you as insecure, controlling, or dramatic, even though her actions clearly made you uncomfortable. That feeling you had in your body, that constant worry, wasn't paranoia, wasn't intuition warning you. She used your empathy against you. She knew you cared deeply, so she kept expecting you to give one more chance than another, and you did. You always believed this might be the last time she crosses the line. Over time, you became the one stable point in her life. Ironically, she started to resent you for that. She got bored. She confused your calm presence with a lack of excitement. She thought love was supposed to feel unstable and intense all the time. She didn't notice that many people would be grateful for the man you were. She saw your forgiveness as weakness instead of strength. Meanwhile, inside, you were breaking down. You stopped joking like you used to. You started holding back your real thoughts. You watched your tone constantly. You were afraid that if you were honest, she would shut down or disappear. You weren't yourself anymore. You were editing yourself to keep her. That's the moment you truly lose. The moment you give up who you are to keep someone who doesn't even appreciate it. She didn't only leave you, you left yourself first. But that stops now. You already tried everything for her. Now you need to try everything for you. Your job is not to win her back. Your job is to win yourself back. That means cutting emotional ties that keep you stuck in the past. It means no long arguments, no long explanations, no more trying to convince someone of your worth. You rebuild your routine without her in it. You fill your days with genuine progress. You pour energy into your fitness, your work, your hobbies, your skills. You treat self-improvement as your main relationship for a while. You get in the gym not to post body updates, but to feel strong again. You start writing your thoughts down so you understand them better. Not for poetic lines, just for clarity. You train yourself to stay calm and steady, instead of reacting to every feeling. You don't answer her late messages when she feels lonely. You don't sit online watching her posts. You remove her from your digital life so your mind can finally rest. You stop expecting any closure from her. Her behavior was the answer, the emotional neglect, the manipulative patterns, the way she made you doubt your own memory and perception. That was enough information. You don't need a perfect explanation from her. You need to accept that this version of her was never going to give you what you were looking for. At some point, you also need to question why you chose her in the first place. Not to blame yourself, but to understand your own patterns. Why did you stay after the third or fourth big red flag? Why did you keep thinking she would change? Because here's another truth. When someone sees that no matter what they do, you will always stay, they stop putting in effort. When that person finally realizes you are truly gone, it hits them. But by then, your job is to keep walking. Any attempt she makes to re-enter your life after you've grown is a test. It's not a reward. If she ever wants access again, she would need to come with consistent action, not just emotional words. But most likely by the time she tries, you'll have outgrown her completely. The old version of you chased, explained, and tolerated everything. The new version of you only entertains people who try for you the way you try for them. If you want practical steps, start here. Remove her from your social media and your contacts, so you're not tempted to check. Do it for your recovery, not out of hate. Write down every incident where you felt disrespected, ignored, or made small. Read it, then destroy that page. Let it be a clear moment where you decide to move on. Every time you think about her, turn that moment into action. A workout, a page of reading, a new skill, progress in your work. Upgrade how you present yourself. Fix your posture. Clean up your style. Start saying no to people who drain you. Watch how your confidence starts to come back. When the pain hits, and it will, don't ignore it. Feel it, but don't worship it. Don't build your identity around what happened. Let it be a sign that something needed to change and that you're finally changing it. She thought your love was a weakness. Now she can see that your absence is stronger than your presence ever was. In the beginning, she truly believed you would never leave. She studied your patterns. She knew how forgiving you were. She knew how much you cared. She assumed that you were emotionally stuck for good. When she pulled away, you tried harder. When she went silent, you tried to be even kinder. She believed you were trapped in the idea of her. And for a while, you were hooked on the memory of how it was at the start. At the start, she mirrored your dreams. She acted like your perfect match. She said all the right things. She acted like the ideal partner until she felt secure with your commitment. Then, slowly, she changed. She stopped showing appreciation for the basic ways you were there. She compared you to past guys or to people she saw online. She made it sound like others did it better, even if she didn't say it directly. The goal was the same: make you feel like you weren't enough so you would work even harder. You responded by adjusting again. You tried to be more gentle, more understanding, more flexible. You thought this would bring back the early connection. You didn't realize that the early version of her wasn't real. It was a performance to get your commitment. Whether we like it or not, a lot of relationships now end up being about power instead of mutual care. The person who is less invested tends to control the rhythm. She knew that, and she used it. She posted for attention. She delayed her replies on purpose. She gave short answers that made you feel like a stranger in your own relationship. When you tried to talk about it, she turned it back on you again, calling you insecure or sensitive. You ignored your own clarity because you were told that a real man fights for love. No one told you that fighting for something one-sided is just you betraying yourself. But then you truly woke up. Not with drama, not with shouting or scenes. You woke up quietly. You disconnected. You stopped arguing. You didn't need to prove a point. You just removed your energy. That's what she never expected. She expected you to react loudly, not to detach calmly. Because men like you, when they finally decide they're done, don't go back. And that quiet distance bothers someone way more than an emotional outburst. Silence, when it comes from self-respect, is powerful. It means you're no longer available for games. It means you're no longer trying to teach someone how to treat you. You're just gone. A lot of people assume men will stay no matter how they act. They think loyalty means they can push every limit. Your silence breaks that belief. It makes them look at their own behavior, clearly, without you there to comfort them at the same time. Your silence is not emptiness. It is you choosing not to feed a bad cycle anymore. It is you reclaiming your time, your sleep, your focus. It is you choosing to react only to what actually builds you. You've also started to understand the pattern. Random affection followed by distance. Warm messages followed by cold behavior. Frequent confusion. That wasn't real love. That was inconsistent behavior that trains you to tolerate low standards because you're hoping the good moments return. Now you are breaking that pattern. You are using silence to reset your mind. In the quiet, you start reading more. You start thinking clearly. You start working on your plans. You notice what you want from a partner and what you will never accept again. When she eventually reaches out again with a short message or a casual check-in, you don't have to reply. Not because you hate her, but because you respect yourself. You don't owe access to someone who repeatedly ignored the impact of their actions on you. You were her safe space for a long time. You were the one she could count on. She confused that consistency with desperation. Your silence now shows her it was strength the entire time. From here on, you build around purpose. You invest in your body, your mind, your money, and your network. You create routines that support your future. Waking up earlier, reading, improving your skills, tracking your progress, keeping the promises you make to yourself. You build a life that she simply doesn't fit into anymore. Not because you're trying to flex on her, but because your new standards automatically filter out people who don't belong there. Meanwhile, she starts to remember things she didn't value before. She remembers the messages you sent, the way you showed care when she doubted herself, the way you paid attention to her details. She remembers how secure she felt around you compared to the shallow attention she gets from others. Her friends may ask about you. Her family might wonder why she lost someone like you. She starts to ask herself the same question she once pushed onto you. Why wasn't she enough for someone so solid? She realizes you were not the issue. She was chasing constant stimulation while you were offering something real and stable. She was obsessed with external attention while you were offering steady devotion. She thought love had to be chaotic. You finally understood that healthy love is calm. You didn't leave to punish her. You left because you were tired of punishing yourself. And now, she has to sit with the reality that she let someone go who genuinely cared. She tries to distract herself with new people, new messages, new followers, new attention. But it doesn't hit the same. These people don't understand her deeply. They don't show up with the same consistency you did. The stability you gave is gone. You are not watching all this. You are busy building. You're not waiting to see her regret. You're building a life where her regret doesn't matter. And that's the point. Let her sit with the loss. You don't need to rescue her from the consequences of her own choices anymore. You did that long enough. You stop explaining why you left. You stop revisiting old arguments. You stop replaying what you should have said. You accept that she had you at your softest, your most patient, your most loyal, and she wasted it. You also accept that she taught you something. She taught you what happens when you ignore your own standards. She taught you what it feels like to let someone's behavior slide again and again. She showed you exactly why you need boundaries. From now on, you don't chase people. You watch how they move. You don't explain basic respect. You notice who gives it without being pushed. You don't beg to be chosen. You choose where you give your time. The women you entertain from here on will know your value without you having to overperform. They will match your effort, respect your focus, and not treat your silence as a challenge, but as a sign that you live with intention. That old version of you who begged, chased, and tolerated chaos is gone. You've grown past him. The man you are now doesn't argue with the past. He builds the future. You didn't lose her, she lost you. And she didn't just lose the man you were back then. She lost the man you were becoming, the man who was willing to give loyalty, presence, patience, and real protection in exchange for basic respect. She couldn't even give that consistently. You spent nights questioning yourself while she chased outside attention. You carried pain in silence, trying to be strong. Now that pain is not a sign of weakness. It's the signal that you needed to change direction. This is the moment where you shift. You stop letting your emotions trap you. You start using them as a reason to grow. You build your body, you sharpen your mind, you guard your time, you protect your peace. You move in a way where no relationship, no breakup, no mistake has the power to break you like that again. You stop treating your worth like it depends on how one girl acted. Let her remember. Let her regret. Let her process. That's her path. Your path is simple. You choose yourself now. And you keep choosing yourself over and over until the way you show up for you is stronger than the way you ever showed up for anyone else.